How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the second week of Kitchen 33. It didn't have a name last week, it's got a name now. Last week we did our honey cashew turkey. I actually got some awesome reviews, which was really cool to know that you guys actually made it. Had a lot of success, so this week we are making our Mexican bruschetta. And yes, it's pronounced bruschetta. I thought it was bruschetta until I started making this video. Decided to look it up. It is in fact bruschetta. Last week I asked for lots of advice and tips, things you liked, things you didn't like, and you guys totally answered. Super cool friend sent me these awesome lights to attempt to make me look a little bit better. But really super appreciative of that friend. You guys gave me some tips on how you wanted an ingredient list. I'm going to do my best to give you some measurements to help out with the flavoring and everything to get it just right. I know some of you requested that. So, this dish, a lot of fun, easily used as an appetizer or as a full dish itself. Pretty simple to make with some really killer ingredients. So let's get started. So I came up with this dish a few years ago. I used to be a really picky eater, and that's how a lot of these dishes actually came about. I really liked the idea and the look and the freshness of an actual Italian bruschetta. But I never liked the raw tomato, the balsamic vinegar, the basil, that sort of thing. My taste has changed since then. I do enjoy those things now. But this is what I came up with as a way to enjoy that style of dish, I guess you could say. So that's where this comes from. I hope everyone likes it. We're going to start off by making a glaze. It's going to go on our bread. It's also going to be a nice topping for our bruschetta. I'm going to start off with half a cup of olive oil. I could not find my half cup, so I made use of 2/4 here. Next, we're going to do a nice handful of cilantro, fresh cilantro. Make sure to get some stems in there. Those have a lot of flavor. A heaping spoonful of minced garlic, a squeeze of lime. Using tongs makes it a lot easier to squeeze. And then we're going to finish it off with some ground salt, just to taste, not a whole lot. We're going to blend that up nice and fine, make sure to get all those chunks out of there. Then we're going to set it off to the side for a little bit later in the video. For our salsa topping, some simple ingredients. We're going to use a can of original Rotel. We're also going to chop up a Jalapeño. You can use more or less than this, however spicy you want it. I'm going to use about 1/8 of a white onion. You can use more, again, your choice. 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, another handful of fresh cilantro, and the rest of our lime. We're also going to add in about a teaspoon of ground cumin. We'll put all this in the mixer and we will make a nice chunky salsa out of it. Texture should look something like this. Alright, now that we have our olive oil cilantro glaze for the bread itself and the topping of the bruschetta and our salsa topping made, now let's move on to the chicken. So as always, we're going to want to dry off our chicken. For this video I used some chicken breast tenderloins. They're nice and tender, they chop up easily, and they hold flavor really well. So we'll get those nice and dried off so that we can season them. We're going to cut them right down the middle. We're going to chop them into some thicker sections, and then from there we are actually going to just dice these up as fine as we can. We'll start chopping, pretty much making a ground chicken, but we want it to still have some nice chunks in it. Alright, next we're going to add a little bit of olive oil to a skillet. We're going to let that get warm. Once it starts to smoke a little bit, we will add our chicken. You really want to get that sizzle. Make sure your chicken is fully thawed when you do this. Mix it around in the oil a little bit, and what we're actually going to do is we're going to blacken the chicken. Blackening is pretty much just letting the spices cook really, really dark, almost to a char. It gets a lot of flavor. You can really load it up. It tastes fantastic. Smells really, really good. Also going to squirt some lime juice on there for a little bit more flavor. Also going to add in some of that cilantro, garlic, lime glaze, whatever you want to call it, just to add a little bit more flavor and to carry over some of those flavors. Remember, we call that an echo. You're going to want to preheat your oven to 400. Now we're going to take our pre-sliced bread, or if it's you sliced it yourself, we're going to lay it out on our baking sheet. No need to put anything down. Not putting anything down underneath it as in oil or sprays or anything is actually going to help toast it a little bit. From there, we're going to add our glaze. Be generous with this. There's a lot of flavor here. This will really help crisp up the bread and give it a really nice texture. Next, we're going to add our Queso Fresco. You can pick this up at pretty much any supermarket. I use Queso Fresco because it's a lot more mild than tortilla, and it still crumbles. It still's got a great flavor. It turns out to be really creamy once it's melted. Put a nice amount of this on each piece. Like I said, it just flakes right off. Next, we're going to pop these into the oven for about 5 minutes or until your bread is nice and toasty. They should look something like this, a little bit of meltiness. Next, we are going to add our salsa topping. Be generous with this stuff. There's so much flavor in here, so good. You're going to get a little bit of texture from those onions and those tomatoes. You can't go wrong with this stuff. Next, pile on your chicken, add a slice of your Queso Fresco, and we are almost done. We're going to drizzle it with a little bit more of our glaze, and we will have our finished product. And there you have it, guys. That is our Mexican bruschetta. I hope everyone enjoys it. I hope this one gets as much feedback as the last video. Please, please, please like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Share this if you're on Facebook. And I'll see you guys next week. Be on the lookout on my Facebook page for another vote. It was a 70-30 vote last week on the pineapple pork tacos versus the Mexican bruschetta. I'm going to try to get you guys to help me out on those decisions every week if I can. Until next time, see you.